This is Mrs. Arietta for your of the ticket. Let's go over what the requirements were for this day. First thing was the independent reading. Read a book or article of your choice and complete the reading log. It wants you to reread sources 1 through 3, and then it wants you to review those sources and take notes so that you can complete the attached selected/constructive response questions that correspond with those 3 sources. So let's break down what you need to do for those constructed response questions. Independently, you need to read the paragraph from Maya's essay. One of her sentences is either an exact copy of a sentence from one of the 3 sources, or it's paraphrasing information from the source, but does not cite which source it came from. So you need to decide which sentence was plagiarized. I want you to determine which of the 3 sources has the best information specifically about parental responsibilities in teaching cyber safety. And then for number 3, you need to find information from the 3 sources about positive digital footprints and college admissions. So make sure that you cite those sources correctly. Now, how do you want to write those sentences? Well, here are some sentence starters that you could use to introduce the citations. Now, you could just put the quote and the source number and leave it at that. However, it's best practice to have a sort of introduction to whatever quote you're going to include in an essay or an ACE paragraph. So I have included some examples of ways to introduce a quote, and you can use them for those 3 lines, those 3 quotes that it wants you to provide for number 3. So one example is to say, according to, state the author's name, throw the quote in, and then put the source number at the end in parentheses. Notice that we have the quotation mark, then the parentheses with the source number, and a period at the end. The punctuation goes on the outside unless it is an exclamation mark or question mark, and it would change the meaning of the quote to not have that end punctuation. Another example of this is author's last name explains that, and then you put the quote in, same type of event. So you can do it that way, or you could say in blank article. Whatever you want to do, just make sure that you've included in some way where the information is coming from in that sentence. Another way to introduce it is to put 2 quotes together if they're connected. So students need to, maybe you put a quote about cleaning up digital footprints, make sure you put that source number after that quote. And then, because blank, what did one of the other sources or the same source say about college admissions? After each quote, you need to make sure you have that citation at the end. You want to make your own sentence starter? You don't want to use one of mine? That's fine. So try creating a dependent clause first and then adding the quote as your independent clause. A lot of times, the quotes you're going to use are complete sentences. So you might as well just create a dependent clause that introduces it and then have the quote itself be the independent clause of your sentence. Good citations are usually complex or compound complex sentences, and they use those dependent or second independent clauses as ways to introduce the relevant information. So use this information to try to create 3 good citations for your constructive response questions, and I will have another video out with the day 9 expectations. So thank you so much and good luck. Bye.